Hello everyone and welcome back to the second video of Mr. PT. I hope everyone enjoyed the last one. For those of you who have not seen it yet, I'll leave a link down below so you can go ahead and watch it. That one was on the Biceps Brachii. Now I realize I haven't posted in a while. This is because I've been really busy with schoolwork and all that jazz, so I do apologize for that. Last thing before we dive in here, I just want to remind everybody that I am still learning this video making / editing process, so please bear with me. They will be getting much better in the future. Moving on, today we are tackling the deltoid, and this is your quote-unquote shoulder muscle. This muscle actually happens to be one of my favorites for many reasons. For me, when I think of people who are built, I think of four main things, and that's biceps, abs, low body fat, and finally boulder shoulders. As we can clearly tell, I am in no means built at all. So when I say shoulders, I just want to reiterate the fact that I am talking about your deltoid muscle, and most people actually call it the delts, and that's just slang term for deltoid. Now I want to start off with a little history about why the muscle is named the deltoid in the first place. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I think it gets its name for a cool reason. The name deltoid is derived from the Greek letter delta. And for those of you who are familiar with the Greek alphabet, you know that it takes the shape of a triangle, as does your deltoid. So it's a bit of a bulky muscle actually, and it's kind of split into three categories, or heads rather. They're named the posterior, lateral, and anterior head. All of them are their own band of muscle fibers, and they originate from three separate spots. So let's go over what I got on my board here. I have it split up into three kind of frames. And the first frame here is just kind of like your skeletal structure. I drew this because the muscle actually covers up what's beneath it, and I want you guys to know what I'm talking about once I start naming off these names and you can't see it really. So starting anteriorly or from the front, we see it comes off of the clavicle, or the more commonly referred to collarbone. So here's the anterior part. This is the end of the clavicle here. When we're looking at just the skeletal part, here's your clavicle. Comes off about right here. Next we can see the lateral portion of the muscle, and this originates from the acromion. And so lateral means from the side. So your anterior part, it makes like this flat kind of shape. The lateral part is going to wrap around your shoulder kind of here. And like I said, this attaches to the acromion of the scapula. And so for those of you who don't know what the scapula is, this is your shoulder blade. When I say acromion, I'm still talking about the shoulder blade. It's just a certain part of it. That's it. It's not like it's a separate bone or anything. Lastly, looking at the posterior head of the deltoid, we can see that it originates from the spine of the scapula. That is right here. You cannot see it on this one, but it's right behind the scapula bone right there. All these three heads are going to meet down on a point on the humerus called the deltoid tuberosity. Yes, deltoid tuberosity. Yes, I'm right. Okay, so sorry about that. But yeah, no, so we can see that it kind of wraps around the front here, from the side to the back, and it's all coming down to one point. Deltoid tuberosity. I'm having a day. Another great thing about this muscle is that it has a wide range of motion and lots of functions, which I'd like to get into now. First and foremost, let's look at the anterior function of the delts. And so its main function is flexion of the shoulder. So with the bicep, we had it where it's flexion of the elbow, which is this motion right here. Now flexion of the shoulder, we're going to lock it up and then move your entire arm. That's what your deltoid is responsible for. It's next best to skip the lateral for right now and move on to the posterior. And this is for posterior flexion of the shoulder, which is just, instead of this, which is when we're going anterior, we're going to go up right here. Posterior. This is posterior flexion of your shoulder. So the reason why I wanted to talk about the anterior and posterior first is because they kind of share a similar range of motion, if you will. They're actually responsible for another main motion, and this is rotation of the humerus. So, again, when we're rotating the humerus, we're going to move anteriorly like this. This is anteriorly. And as soon as we hit here and move this way, we're going posteriorly. This is working your posterior head, or the back of the tricep, back of the deltoid. Anterior, posterior. Lastly, we're going to move on to the lateral head of the deltoid, and their main function is abduction of the shoulder, which is just fancy terms for this motion. So you're just moving it straight out from your body. Alright, finally, let's wrap up the video and get into some of the exercises that we can do that work the delts. So, starting off with some basic push-ups, this is gonna exercise your anterior head. Doing this movement here, you're gonna target your posterior head. Doing this movement, you're gonna target the anterior head again. When we look at this, we're also working anteriorly. Here, we are working that lateral head. Finishing up with some Pike's push-ups. This is your anterior and lateral heads. Alright, that about sums up this video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned some exercises you can do at home to work these muscles. Again, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. My whole goal with this channel is just if I can get one person to watch it and gain something from it, I'm accomplished. I've made my goal. And so for all of you out there who are learning from this, it makes me feel good. So thank you, and we will see you on the next video. Goodbye.